Well, it's Saturday in the Monster Guitars workshop. I like Saturdays. Most people like Saturdays. Safety gear whenever you're going to bandsaw. So what I'm going to do on the bandsaw today is do a rough cut of the neck for the Toronado out of this lovely piece of maple. I've planed it down to a thickness of 30 millimeters, which is just under 1.5 inches. That's a bit thicker than a traditional fender neck, which starts off at about exactly 1 inch, I believe. But, you know, I don't have to do everything like they do because they're not the boss of me. This is the way I wanted to do it. I will admit that my bandsaw blade isn't ideal for doing hard woods. It's 4, maybe 5 teeth per inch, and I do need to get a new blade with only 3 teeth per inch, which is just better at ripping through tough stuff. But this is a rough cut, and we'll see how it goes. That was quite hard to cut. This is a very hard wood. That's not the colour of the wood, that's burnt. That's how hot it got trying to get through there. I mean, I could do the whole neck that way, but I won't. It is hard work and it's probably not good for the blade that's in there. So I'm actually going to stop cutting out this neck just now, and I will get hold of a blade more suited to the task. I'll look for one that's about 1/2 inch wide and 3 teeth per inch. That, I think, will give me a much better result. So I'll come back to cutting out the neck once I've got that. Well, I said that I would do it, and now I've got a new blade for my bandsaw. So I have to try for the first time to change this out. So let's see how we go. In. Now I just have to tighten everything up, and I will be back in a moment once I've done that. So that seems to have gone well. It looks like it's going around pretty straight. Now all that remains is to just do a wee test on it. And I'll just use a stick to push this through. I've seen some videos of people using bandsaws and their hands get very close to the blade, certainly too close for comfort for me. So let's see if this cuts relatively straight. If not, I'll have to do a bit more adjustment. And wow, I have to say I noticed the difference. I mean, I'm cutting MDF, which is pretty easy to cut, even with the old blade, which was, I don't know, 4 or 5 teeth to the inch. But that was much quicker. Felt so easy, like there wasn't even any wood there. I'll just check this line, see how straight that is, and that's... I'm holding it up to the light, I can barely see anything. I am quite happy with that. That's quite good. I've never done that before, and I got it right. I'm pretty sure I got it right. I mean, it's doing the right job, so I guess that means I got it right. So, it's Friday evening. I scratched my finger while putting in the blade. I didn't cut it on the blade, but I think I scratched it on something around here. I'm a real woodworker. So it's Friday evening, and tomorrow sometime I will continue cutting my maple neck. I'll see you then. So I've got the blade all set up to cut the neck out, but I thought before I cut the neck out, it is easier to route the truss rod channel before the next shape has been cut out, so it's a nice rectangular block. So I'll go ahead and route the truss rod channel before I do anything else. Maybe I shouldn't put my mouth so close to this when I'm blowing the chips out and inhaling, given that I don't know what maple is like, but lots of these woods are toxic. So I have pretty much routed out the truss rod channel. Would you look at that, the camera is casting a shadow as it moves. I am, however, just going to take a slightly thicker bit, 1/2 inch, and route part of that a little bit bigger and a little bit wider and a little bit deeper to accommodate the adjuster at the end of the truss rod, which is a little bit wider. And well, it looks just like the routing I just did, so I won't bore you with showing you that. I'll show you it when it's done. Right, so I've routed out the channel, including a deeper, wider part here. Still a little bit of sawdust, but that'll clean out pretty easily. And the moment of truth. Does it do what I want? Yes. Perfect. How many truss rods have I routed out, both in practice and in a real nick? I think about 5. That's easily the most successful. I'll make sure I do that in future, using a wider bit for that part of the channel. That really is sitting in there nice and snug. Okay, so now I will use my new bandsaw blade to cut out the shape of the neck. Okay, so attempt 2 to cut out the neck. In fact, I'm glad I didn't cut it out last time, because the truss rod cavity wasn't in it, the truss rod channel, and it would be a nuisance. They have to try and route that on an already cut out neck. I know, I've tried. So 2 things that should make this easier. Number 1, I have planed the thickness of the maple down a little, so it's I know you're not supposed to mix inches with metric, but it's about 1.2 inches, which is closer to the 1 inch that Fender used on the original Toronado. And of course I have a new blade, which is 3 teeth per inch, and appears to be a bit of a monster when it comes to just ripping through wood. So, with that in mind, this should be easier. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And I've just realized I didn't do something that I recommended, namely making cuts from the edge of the wood to roughly where I'm going to be cutting lengthwise, so that the pieces fall off as I go. So I'll have to maneuver this out now. Fortunately, it's proving quite easy. The difference a good blade makes is just incredible. This is really good. Wow. I'm very pleased with the acquisition of that blade. Now I don't know how well you'll see the pencil lines. They aren't very dark. I've left a bit of room around the line that I'm going to be cutting, because that's the safe thing to do. And I will be using the neck and headstock template with my router and the flush trim bit just to get those edges perfect, so I'm not terribly worried about the fact that I haven't followed the line very closely. So that's the next step.